Welcome back to the shop, gentlemen. Today we have a special treat. We're going to have a look at shitty calipers versus awesome calipers. Now, if you're a lurker on any kind of technical forum whatsoever, be it woodworking, metalworking, electronics, the subject of shitty calipers comes up time and time again. So we're going to put this puppy to bed once and for all. So I have here some Sparkfun Electronics shitty digital calipers. And we know they're shitty because I paid $10 for them. 10. And these are the same shitty calipers, be they Harbor Freight or Power Fist or whatever, coming out of Yulong Ding Dong, China. Comes with the ramen noodle spice packet. I think that's shrimp and mothball flavor. Look at this, a battery. Wonder if it had... Oh, and it comes with a battery in it. And horror of horrors, there's mercury in this battery. Okay, so we'll have a look at the Chinglish instrucciones. First off, we got the technical specs here in Times New Roman and then in Arial. Why the hell can't they get their justification right? They just set this right. It doesn't take that much. It's 2 pages. Come on, people. So anyway, of course, that's minor nitpicky stuff. No big deal. And we don't read the instructions because that's just like cheating. This has the thumb wheel, so that's nice. Oh man, it just makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Screechy. Listen to this. Oh, crunchy. Okay, well, I can see why that's crunchy already. The back is, the beam here is bent. Right out of the box. It's straight as an arrow. It bent like a dong's hind leg. So this, of course, CE does not mean European certification. This means China export. And this is cute. They have a little tap and die set with, or tap and die chart with Whitworth thread form. Very useless. Unless, of course, you're working on a 1950s Austin Healey Bug-Eye Sprite, in which case this might come in real handy. Okay, well, that's just atrocious, so let's see what's going on there. Okay, so we're just looking bottom side top wise on this aluminum flat bar, extruded aluminum flat bar, and we're going to see how wow this is right from El Factoria. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's about 30 thou, so maybe 3/4 of a millimeter on a precision instrument. But I'm going to be making this excuse a lot, I think. It was $10. Still, you would think that maybe the factory could not go out of their way to pre-bend it. Just saying. Okay, we're back bottom side top wise, and we can see this depth measuring bar had a little contact with the BMX crossbar because it's got a slight curve to the left. So this has all been precision ground, and you can see the grinding marks, but none of the edges have been broken. So this thing is like razor sharp in your hand. Brutal. Like, nothing's sharp. The jaws are just atrocious. Now, as a comparison, we got the Mitutoyos here. These have been through the Boer War. These are, I think, 12 years old now. And I'll be the first to admit that I'm more bold than ballerina when it comes to tools. And these, oh, here you go. That's fresh out of, there's some crud on there, but listen to the difference there. Smooth. Thumb wheel's quite a bit nicer movement. This thumb wheel's pretty loose in here. Just feels chintzy. I mean, it has the same effect, but it doesn't feel... Oh. Yeah. Just pretty much an incredible difference. Night and day. So I'm just going to... I'm going to quickly check the same thing with the flat bar. Yeah, it's got a bit of a wow to it, just from, more than likely, from me being abusive, but looks a little bit like, this is quite a bit more reasonable, more like 5 thou. Just just see some light through there. And the depth indicator didn't have any accidents with a BMX when it was younger. Now, even the jaws, you can tell the grind on them is like, these have been ground with a really rough stone, and these have been ground with a really soft, nice, mild stone. You can see in the surface finish. And these come together with a nice kind of solid snap, and these come together with a mushy thud. Now you can see just in the track here, this track actually, in the crappy ones, actually has burrs coming off of the edge from the grinding. And of course the Mitutoyos have all been finished at the factory, cleaned up a little bit. And 10 years of grief and abuse probably knocked any burrs off, even if there was burrs. Okay, feature-wise, the Mitutoyo has a reset button for the origin, and it's recessed. So you can set the origin. And as far as features, pretty much the same thing here. You can measure in millimeters or inches, whichever you prefer. And then if you hit 0, then you can see the difference in a part, or say you want to go 6 millimeters more than that, you can just measure it, blah, 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 blah. Same thing with this guy. Only it does it slightly more crusty early. Right now we're getting into the meat and potatoes. This says it's 1 thou accuracy, and the resolution is half a thou, but more importantly the repeatability says it's half a thou. So let's go ahead and check that. So we got the 3-inch standard. We'll change the Mitutoyo to inches. Try not to touch this too much. There we go. 2.99995. 2.99995. .99995. Now let's try this guy. 3.01. 3.5. 3.015. Okay, so just for fun, we're going to make this thing grow in length. And it's surprisingly easy to do that because steel expands 1 thou per 100 degrees per inch. So if we bring this up an extra 100 degrees Fahrenheit is 3 inches. It's going to grow 3 thou. All right, we got it warmed up. Let's see if that's the cock for dolly. Yeah, we made it grow 2 thou. This one's showing 4 thou. So surprisingly good accuracy for a $10 tool. Are you going to buy a $10 tool and assume that it's accurate to within 1 thou? No. Well, despite being reasonably accurate, this thing does not scream precision instruments. Even the threads on the lock screw are all chewy. Alright, we got the craptacular microscope out, and I upgraded. I actually got a mag base for the 10 bucks. Grizzly tools. Way more awesomer. Here we can see the finish on the outside diameter blade. This is on the $10 jobby. Quite a difference. There's the blade on the Mitutoyo. Look at the just look at the edge there, how much cleaner that is. And that's after 10 years of shit and abuse at the hands of yours truly. Back to the craptacular one here. There is the ID blade, and it's just atrocious. You can see it's actually mushroomed right over. And here's the one from the blade that's made in Japan. Lovely finish. You see it's starting to get magnetized, after 12 years. Actually, that brings up a really good question. How do you demagnetize your caliper blades? I have no idea. You wouldn't want to hit it with a hammer. Maybe warm it up a little bit? Well, you probably wouldn't want to do that either. And here's the back side of the depth measurement slide. And yeah, sharp and lots of burrs there. You wouldn't want to run your finger along that. Okay, so here's the PCB under the microscope. And yeah, there's 3 little filter caps. Those are the only passives on here. And there's a nasty looking homebrew solder blob, complete with flux all over the place, not cleaned up. But yeah, $10. And over here in Digital Town is the black blob, which has the little bare die microcontroller on it. So I took this apart so we could look at the PCB. I figured it'd have some crusty stuff on it. Of course it does, but not that bad. But this is just incredible. This is on the inside so you don't see it. And it is so fucking bad. It's still got mill scale on here. Like the grinding. The surface is so terrible that the surface grinding to flatten it didn't even take out this low spot. And then this is all, it's still got the grinding dust in it. Like it's full of grinding dust. So scabby, nasty. And this is beyond the beyonds. The mind boggles. So instead of 2 nice little tacks here, like tiny little spot welds, what they've gone and done, and I noticed this is blued, it's been oxidized, so they heated it up. If you look in here, what they've actually done is heated this tab up, bent it over, then they've made a slot in the body here, and then peened it with a chisel and hammer. That's how it's connected. Shockingly bad. So pretty clear nobody in the know had a look at this before they sourced it or before they started selling it to their customers. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I tried to sell that to somebody. That is totally a race to the bottom. Terrible. Shocking. $10. And here it is under the microscope. Shockingly bad. Oh man. So there's the tang there, and then there's a little slot that somebody's ground with a Dremel, and they've gone ahead with a cold chisel and peened that over. And the really shocking thing is, doing it this way would take at least 5 times as long as just coming along with a spot welder and hitting it twice. But the problem is, you need to align it properly. You need to have a proper jig to get it aligned in order to spot weld it so that it's reasonable. But this way, it's got some givetivity to it. So it gives them a fudge factor when they put it together. Shockingly bad. And I just noticed this putting this together. You can see that the grinding didn't remove the mill pits. So this steel is probably like less than A36. It's Chinese pot metal. See all this pitting in here? And we're going to go ahead and make it into a $20 digital caliper by taking the razor sharp edges off, all the metal grinding burrs off, cleaning up the grinding dust from the factory. This just atrocious, just loaded, look at that, loaded right full of grinding dust. And we'll clean that up, and maybe it'll give us a little better service. So I'm just breaking the sharp edges. And this is a jeweler's file here, a Swiss file they call this. So I got the beam up against the straight edge here. Look at this. So I'm going to try a little reverse bendy action to see if we can't straighten that out a little bit. But Yeah, I can't fuck it up any more than it already is. Now, that's right from the Factoria. Okay, got her bent there. That's about as good as she gets. About a million times better than it was. So I got this cleaned up as best I can, and now we're just going to use some 5% moly disulfide grease. Just a little dab will do ya. And we're going to put it on the brass wiper piece here, the bearing, slide, and hopefully that'll impregnate the pot metal here and help it slide more better. It will be dirty for the first little bit, but once it gets in there, we're fine. So they got a nice brass slide at the top here, but they just got that scabby pot metal rubbing right against the beam on the bottom. So we're going to put some more moly disulfide in there, help us out. Oh, we've snugged up the adjustment screws just so it slides nice. And I might even just go a little tighter so we can wear it in here. And then we'll adjust it again after it wears in. Too much. So the way this is designed, you can never get rid of this slop in the front end here, because this adjustment screw actually isn't an adjustment screw at all. It just retains that slider in there. There's a hole in the slider. This indexes into it, so there's no adjustment. The adjustment's only on the back end. Okay, well, it's a lot better than it was, and now at least it claps shut instead of thud shut. It feels better. That's a lot more serviceable, I would say. So after having a look at this, these are calipers that are designed to do the same thing, but they do two entirely different jobs. This is the set of calipers you want to keep around, that you enjoy using. They're lovely. You know, you don't use them to scribe. You don't chuck them in a tool bag and schlep them to every third world shithole that you got to fly into and fix something. Oh, no, actually you do that. And they stand up quite well. These ones, they don't feel nice. I don't trust them, but they are cheap. So it's like why do you buy a fluke meter over a $50 knockoff? Well, because when you're troubleshooting something, your cognitive load is so high that you don't want to be second guessing your meter. You want to be confident. So these, just the fit and feel, no confidence. Add that to the fact that they're not ready to go out of the box. You're gonna have to either wear heavy gloves when you use them or knock all the edges off, because they're just horrific. Now, the one advantage that these have, and they're reasonably accurate as we proved, is that it has a data out port. So you can use this in a CNC or whatever, you know, sort of cobble something together. If you got a short little DRO that you want to make, $10. I mean, you're not going to lose anything. So these are basically throwaways, and they're good for what they're designed for, which is throwing away. But in all honesty, it really has to do with how much hassle you're willing to put up with. And I'm doing this sort of thing. Generally, it's for a hobby. I don't like any hassles. I like everything to be nice and smooth. Whereas somebody else might be willing to pay less for something and have it crap out early and have to buy a new set, yada, 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 because they get pleasure from being cheap. Now, I get pleasure from being cheap as well, but I don't cheap out on tools. Well, the long and the short of it is, you get what you pay for. You pay $150, you get a beautiful set that you love to use. You pay $10, you buy a cruddy set that you hate to use. And it really comes down to details. You take this one, you can feel it's weeble wobbling around, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. This one, nice and tight. It's all about fit and finish. This is a pro tool. This is a home gamer tool. Now the question is this 15 times better than this? Absolutely. If you got $150 to spend on a lovely pair of calipers that are going to last you, do it. Because these are only going to last you a year or two. So in order to justify this to the budget troll, all you got to do is amortize this over the 20-year lifespan, and you're coming out way ahead. because not only do you have a nicer, better tool, you're saving money in the long run. Okay, well, I think we killed this one right to death. Now, hopefully we never have to hear about this on any forum ever again. And in order to ensure that, there's a link to the Reddit below. Please go there, check it out. Well, interesting thing, I was testing this out and a couple of the segments went dead. And I remembered that the PCB doesn't have proper mounting. It's just got holes drilled right through the fiberglass into the enclosure here. So that's what it's relying on to make contact, the zebra stripe make contact with the LCD. So nothing a little tape couldn't fix, but word to the wise, if you get dead segments there, that's what's going on. It's because the PCB is not located properly on that zebra strip. And the only way I could get it to work was to put some shimmy tape in there. Now it's working great. So have your Scotch tape at the handy when you buy this thing, because chances are eventually you'll get some dead segments. And of course, as always, I read all your comments on YouTube. Please, concerns, ideas, bitching, moaning, whatever you want, stick it on there. And until next time, thanks a lot for watching. Keep your stick on the ice.